It is the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast bringing you this week's Arnold Palmer Invitational, featuring all the best golfers in the world. And as always, the show's brought to you by DraftKings. We thank them so much for sponsoring this wonderful show with so many wonderful viewers out there. And speaking of wonderful viewers, Kenny Kim, what's cooking, my brother?
Yeah, make sure to use promo code FGD. If you're signing up for DraftKings, you'll get a nice little bonus for the first deposit that you put in. What is up, man? I don't know how to explain what happened yesterday. It was pretty brutal for Shane Lowry. I sort of enjoyed watching it, I have to admit, after how he killed us in the Ryder Cup. But I did feel sort of bad for him afterwards when he got on the mic and, did what he was supposed to do. Everyone's sort of lauding him for doing it. He's doing what he should do. And that's where we are in golf, right? I mean, Morikawa doesn't talk. Scheffler doesn't talk, won't talk to the media sometimes. Rory does it all the time. So when a guy actually does what he's supposed to do, right? I mean, he gets all this credit and praise. I mean, whatever. Okay. Yes, it was a hard watch, that interview afterwards with Shane Lowry. It was difficult. He put his, he did what he should do. Let us know how he's feeling. This is sports. Sports is entertainment. It is not just the what the process is during the time we're watching. It's how golfers react to it afterwards, what they say, how they prep for it, how you're seeing them get ready for tournaments, how you see them react after the tournament's over. That's all a part of the whole spectrum, right? And where we are right now in this day and age of media, where we glad hand these stars, and you're and they don't have to talk, and they're being sort of assholes out there. Fine, you could be an asshole, go out and talk and do your thing, but just do the bare minimum. This is sports. I know people are like, well, we shouldn't be invading their privacy. They are not private people. They are in sports. This is entertainment. We are watching them for money. They are making money for us watching this. The bare minimum should be what Shane Lowry did. Now, good for him that he did it. But the people that are glad-handing him and be like, oh, wow, he did this, he talked after, that's what the fuck he should be doing. That is what the fuck. As a professional athlete, as someone whose job it is to play this sport, this is part of your job. This is part of your job. Do the work. Good for him, he did it. But it's not that huge of a thing. It's what he should be doing. Now let's actually get to the golf.
What's that meme where they hold up the sign? Our expectations were super low, and you still managed to not get it. That's what Shane's.
He did his thing. I'm not talking shit about that. I mean, it had to have been difficult for him, right? I'm not saying it's not, right? He just blew the fucking tournament. He choked, big time choke. When you don't feel the ball hitting your club face, when you don't know where the ball's going on the club face and you admit it, in the last 3 holes, that's what happened. Because on 15, he hit it to 2 feet. Right? He hit it to 2 feet or 3 feet on 15. He was fine, right? And 16, 17 comes and it looked like me out there. I mean, that ball wasn't even over land. Both those balls didn't even go over land, right?
No.
It was really, really, it was a difficult watch, right? Yes, I'm not the biggest Shane Lowry fan, but I mean, man, I like to see that happen is still tough, right? But it's Shane. The guy hasn't won since 2019. I told my buddies, I wish I jumped on it. My buddies hit me up and they're like, yeah, we're thinking about taking the field. I think there was 4 holes left. Shane was up by 3 or 4 strokes. Buddy hit me up and he was like, I think I want to take the field over Shane Lowry. That's not a horrible bet. This is Shane Lowry. He's going into the bear trap. I mean, we've seen it happen before at this tournament, maybe not in the final round, but what it reminded me of was about 10 years ago when Adam Scott won this event. You have Adam Scott out there in the 3rd round on a Saturday, 3-stroke lead going into the bear trap. At the end of the bear trap, Sergio had a 1-stroke lead. Right? Now, Adam came back on Sunday to win, so people don't really remember that, right? But that's what can happen. on the bear trap. Like it was not over. And I told my buddies, maybe you should think about betting Nico because he's the guy that, a guy who was behind expecting to win. I think at that point in time, you could still get him. I don't know.
I didn't 35-1 at one point.
Something like
on
that.
Sunday.
I really wish I bet that. My buddy did.
Yeah.
He took the bet, and so at least I won somebody money because I didn't win shit this week.
It was a very tough week, Kenny. I had the Shane Lowry fade, but the top 5 and top 20 placement bet, which cashed. It was the only 2 bets that cashed, but I bet a ton of first round leaders, a ton of, outrights and things like that as well. I had one of the craziest bets and bad beats type situation, Kenny. I bet Christopher Wrighton to finish top 5 after round 2, as we posted in the Model Maniac Patreon down there. He hit 17 greens and made 6 birdies. What do you think he shot?
I don't know.
Tell me, what would you think a professional golfer who hits 7, misses 1 green and makes 6 birdies at the Cognizant Classic?
And worth 67. And
70.
Worse.
1 under par. 70. Yeah. He made 3 3-putts, and the only green he missed, he made a double. And he finished 6th.
Easy to do to make doubles.
And all I needed was just not 1 3-putt or just a bogey. And he even punched out and hit a wedge. Then he hit the wedge in the bunker, had to come out sideways out of the bunker, and then 2-putted. It was disgusting. It is like, that's the kind of stuff that happens in golf, right? Like, I've never seen someone hit 17 greens and make 6 birdies and only shoot 1.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's insane. Yeah, that is so insane. And that's what we get, when you're betting on golf. You learn about these kind of things as you watch your money fly away. But that kind of thing happens, and I have a break-even week. Instead, we lose 3.7 units. It's what it is. It is what it is. Shane took care of business for us.
Shane cost Shane really cost me. Like,
one and done.
Cash Game Cornerstone, right? He was one of my first Cash Game Cornerstone last week. My second was Voigard, who had 2 doubles on the back also. Right? After shoot, I mean, he could have shot like 63, 62. I think he got 65, right? With 2 doubles.
On
Sunday, right? So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm really, so the last couple of weeks, betting the 3 plays each way has cost me a lot. I've had a couple of each way hits where I should have hit if I did a normal 8. So I'm going to be thinking about that. I have 1 3 place each way this week. And I think if the math works out, I'll go over that in our betting segment this week. But only one guy this week is the 3 places. All the other guys will be 8 places this week. I'm going to go back to that because
tried her, gave her a spin, didn't work out.
The last couple of weeks it cost me $600 if I just bet the 8 places. You know what I'm saying?
Question for you, Kenny: would you have had as many people on your card? Like, would that person even have had the opportunity to let you down if you didn't have?
The thing is, Hoygaard was going to be on my card last week, no matter what. Right? He was going to be on the card. I forget who it was the week before, but I'm pretty sure he was going to be on the card. Okay. If you're one of those guys that I'm doing the 3 places, I like you. You're probably a top, in the top of the board, and that's why I'm doing it, to try and get more people below. Right? That's why I'm doing the 3 places, because I have, my weekly bankroll is $350, 350 to 400. It fluctuates, sometimes it's going to be in that range. And, so I was going to, the 3 places guys, more than likely I was going to bet them no matter what, because I like them a lot. And the only reason I did that was because of the numbers and because I thought they had a really good chance of winning. And that's why I do the 3 plays. But, it didn't work out. I'll go back to my normal this week. But, I didn't really deserve to have sweat in DFS. I only had 4 of 6 make the cut. I had Shane, I had Hoygaard, and I had Bez make the cut. Ryder missed the cut, his first cut at the Cog in 7 attempts. I think he missed the cut. And I had Valinaki. I don't know what the fuck happened to him. And then I had Horschel, who made the cut, was looking good early, and then just sort of fucked up at the end. Yeah, Horschel. But yeah,
the guy who was fighting with fans after sculling it into the water.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, he makes it. At that point in time, I was looking at him. I was looking at Lipsky, and I decided to go with the course history. I went with the course history. The guy makes, a bunch of cuts, and there was a cut this time. All right. Like, I think 21 golfers missed the cut. It was a legit cut. I think, am I right about that? Yeah, I think I am right about that.
Which tournament are we talking about?
Genesis. Oh, Cog. I'm thinking, my bad. I got the Cog and Genesis confused. My bad, brother. It's been a long weekend.
Buddy, I thought I've had a long day, and I was like, what was I watching?
I'll tell you right now, like, at this age, like, you can tell, my eyes are all squinty and shit. I'm not even like buzzed. This is just trying to recoup
called
from
exhaustion. Yeah.
So I played golf on Saturday, right? A beautiful day. Got out. Thank you, Brendan. Brendan, I forget his last name. Fan of the show. He got me a tee time. There's like no tee times in the whole state of Virginia for Saturday. All right. And so he got me on a tee time at this nice course in Maryland. Went up there, played with him. Really, really nice guy. Played okay. I had 7 3-putts, shot 91. Ball striking was pretty good.
Christopher Wrighton. Yeah.
Typical for me right now. But it was fun. I dropped my dog off at a buddy's house beforehand so he can watch my dog. Came back. They were at the bar across the street with the dog. And it ended up, I didn't drink at the course. I usually don't drink that much when I play golf anymore because I want to play golf. That's why I'm there. It's not really much of a social outing for me anymore to go play golf. Like, I want to play golf because I want to get better. Right. That's why. So I didn't drink, and I had an hour drive. I keep my drinking and driving to like a 2-mile radius around my house now. Hey, when I do, it's very, very rare.
If you ever do, Kenny. Yeah.
What? Yeah. It's
if
very
you ever do drink and drive.
Allegedly.
Rare.
Yeah.
No,
Allegedly.
Back in the day, it was quite often. Not something to be proud of. Nowadays, lots. I can't remember the last time I drove. Okay. When I played Penderbrook across the street, it's a half mile. That'll be like sometimes I'll have some drinks at the clubhouse right there. But anyways, where was I going with this? Oh, and so we went out, we chilled with the dog, had some drinks, cocktails, beautiful day. Went out, went back to his house, played darts for 8 hours. We were playing for like thousands of dollars. Like, I lost like $1,200 playing darts. But we played for like 8 hours, right? Just getting smashed and hammered. All right. And so that was Saturday. It went into Sunday. I recouped Sunday. And even today, I'm still not 100%. Like still not even close to 100%. Luckily, my boss is cool. He lets me off like 2/3 of a day on Mondays. So I can get home early, prepare for the show. Like, he knows I do the show, but he doesn't watch, thank God. And so, I told him I was doing 2 shows because I am doing another show after this. I'll be on Pat's Thursday show, his new show, where we just talk about random shit. I know the first couple episodes is Cam.
Who's your guest?
Who's the other guest? CJ Sullivan. I guess he's a comic who delves into the sports gambling sphere. I looked over. I followed him on X when Pat told me who it was to look over. He's a pretty funny guy. So everyone should check that out. It'll probably be released this Thursday. But so I have these 2 shows coming today, and so I told him, I needed a half day instead of a 2/3 day. And I got home around 12:30 and took a nap. For 3. Yes. That's what I did. Then I got my work in for the show, and then recording this now, and I'll be on the other show later. But man, and the one thing about darts is, you're leaning on your front foot, right? A bunch.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you're doing this. My right calf and hamstring, it's dying. Like literally dying. And my arm, like right here, is so much pain. Like, that's how out of shape I am at this point in time, right? I guess we play for 8 hours.
8 hours is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time to play it off. Just boozing, partying, playing darts, gambling, throwing money everywhere. But yeah, so that's what happened.
Deep deprivation.
Like, mentally, I am not 100%. I'm 100% sober right now.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I'm same boat as you, Kenny. Month end for me, business day one. It's full on accounting. I went to bed at like 12:30. I was up late doing like, golf prep stuff, trying to be, ready for the week. I wake up with Caitlin shaking my shoulder because I'm just like freaking out in my sleep, having a nightmare that Bellatrix Lestrange is chasing me and my family down, trying to kill us. And that just shows you how hardcore of a Harry Potter fan
I wouldn't mind.
I mean,
her
that's
chasing-
not bad. I don't know, dude.
It's with my wife. It's not like it's like I'm protecting the woman I love from the woman I wouldn't mind loving either, but she was trying to kill me and my family. And I wake up and I'm just like out of it, like didn't get back to bed.
She's hot. She's hot. I find her incredibly like dirty hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like she would do like nasty things in bed and I would enjoy it. Like that's the type of woman that I think she is. I don't know if that's the way she really is, but like, the roles. I mean, think of the first role you saw her in Fight Club.
Fight Club. Yeah, I was going to say.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Right?
Yes.
Like I've been fucked like that since grade school. That's the quote that I remember. Right? From Fight Club. She was like, oh my God, this girl's a freak. Right? She's hot, bro. She got that, even in Les Mis. I love her in Les Mis when she plays the hotel with Cavallier's wife, right? Just dirt and smudge all over with the titties just popping out, like dirty, smudgy titties, just popping all over the screen. I love it. She's one of my favorite favorite actresses, and she's talented. Like she's extremely talented.
So talented. That Gringotts scene where she's acting as Hermione, acting as herself is like, that's some, Inception
she was great in Harry
stuff.
Potter.
Good stuff.
Everything she's in, she's excellent. And she's sort of like, she takes over the screen, right? She's an amazing actress.
No,
I love her.
Phenomenal. I love how we had two totally different dreams about it in alternate realities where, look, I don't want to wake up after a nightmare with a boner. Fear boners are like the worst. You just don't want those. So
that's why you have the wife,
especially on a Monday morning.
Get on this, please. That's why you have the wife.
Moving on to other things that happened in the golf world this weekend.
Oh no, okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
Jaden Shaper, Casey Jarvis,
your boys,
the South Africans. Back-to-back wins for back-to-back South Africans type situation. He's going for, I think I saw 7 years to win his first tournament and then like 7 days to win his next one.
Back-to-back, right?
Pretty sick, and now he's going.
Was the second tournament his national open? It was
the SA Open this week.
Yeah.
So awesome stuff out in, I think it was in Stellenbosch or something like that. Wonderful. If you're ever going to South Africa, Cape Town must be your very first stop. You're not flying to Oliver Tambo.
I will say, I'm not going to South Africa. Are there like nice
Cape Town?
South Africa? Are there like
Cape Town
places? Like, am I or I get robbed?
I took Caitlin to Cape Town for a week before I took her anywhere else in the country. It's run by a different part of the government. It's the only province of the 9 that's run by the Democratic Alliance. The ANC runs the other 8. Cape Town.
So that's where we need to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's safe as balls. It's beautiful. It's touristy. Me and Caitlin are walking home from the waterfront at nighttime. I do not do that anywhere else.
Okay.
No, sir. Like Cape Town is the must go.
Because according to Elon, if you're white, you're going to get fucked up in South Africa. At least that's what that's what I glean from his tweets.
Especially if you're a farmer, because they will literally come for your land. And
but didn't that happen to your father?
No. We've been hijacked.
Yeah.
I've been hijacked. I was actually emailing a guy called Jack at work, which is hilarious because I said, hi, Jack, and I've been hijacked twice. My dad's been hijacked 4 times, dude. Like one of the very first time, my sister was in the back of the car.
Oh my God.
And he went after, he like confronted them because the dogs were barking. He ran towards the gate and he's a lazy fuck just like me. And he never put on the sensors for you to like stop the gate from closing on the motored gate. So they tried to come, and all I remember from that night is the gun coming through the gap and the gate like pushing it away from my dad's face because
oh my God,
it didn't stop. And
Jesus.
I just got chills doing that, dude. And then like the second time we just got done golfing, we dropped off one of my best friends at a gas station near his house where his dad picked him up. And then they followed us from the gas station back to my other buddy's house, and we pulled up perpendicular to the driveway. You never pull into a driveway in South Africa if you're dropping people off, because they'll pull up right behind you and then
block you in.
Then you're blocked. Then you can't go anywhere. Obviously, my dad's, done this before. We are busy getting our golf clubs out, and a car came driving down the road and it turned its lights off. And that's like, boom. So the moment I saw that, I grabbed a golf club out of the bag. They came driving past me with an Uzi out of the window and opened the passenger door in front of my dad's car to try and stop him from going. But we had a big diesel minivan, and he just flattened that door completely up against the front wheel arch and drove away. Realized that me and my buddy weren't in the car because he was so like zoned in on the car that just flipped its lights off, that he was watching it and he knew he was going to react to it. Realized we weren't in the car. We didn't know where we were. So he reversed back at them with a massive tow bar that we have for our camper that we, use that car for. And they got out the way. And by this time we were on the other side of the block. We bounced, we just ran. And my dad just laid on the horn to wake up everybody in the neighborhood. It was like 8:00, get people out of the houses and just get these guys to piss off. But he laid on the horn for probably what felt like 2 minutes. And I was on the other side of the block, and all I thought was, my dad's been shot in the head, and he's like head on the steering wheel, just with his, like you see in movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And then we came back around the block, and I saw my dad, and I saw him for the first time basically again. It was a crazy situation. We went out to a school function later that night.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, in my time in Korea, we never had shit like that, bro. The worst thing that happened to me in Korea is when I was 7, I went back to visit, and my grandmother's house didn't have indoor plumbing, so we had to use the outhouse in the back, and I had the runs, and I missed. That's the worst thing that happened to me that I can remember while I was in Korea. Everything else is pretty good there.
Yeah,
it's crazy growing up in something like that, man. Damn.
Yeah. So fun little tangent there for us.
My aunt still gives me shit about that to this day. She's like, I'm the one that had to clean that shit up. I'm like, well, fuck. What the fuck else are you gonna do?
Sometimes you just got to commit, man. Like, have you ever shit yourself, Kenny?
Oh, yes, often.
Okay.
Way more often, especially after the age of 40. Once I hit 40, like, you have those times you're like, is this a shit or is this? Like 99.999999999% of the time prior to being 40 years old, it was okay. It was a fart. I had to check a couple of times, but for almost every single time before 40, it was good. Since then, it's like 90%. Like, it still seems good. Still solid, but it's not.
That's 1 out of 10 farts, dude. I don't know.
It sounds 9% really ain't that good in that situation. So yes.
Gosh darn it. Yeah, one of my buddies shot himself on the golf course. It was incredible. And then he came back after changing his stuff, and he chipped in for birdie. Like right afterwards. It was one of the most, on his birthday. It was epic, So
that is crazy. I will say Halloween when I was 10 years old. I think I was 10, 11 years old. We were trick-or-treating. A bunch of me and my friends were all Boy Scouts. We were at my buddy's house.
Is that why you shit yourself now?
And then anyway. So I don't know what happened. I must say something bad. And I was like trick-or-treating. I was like, man, I really got to shit. I didn't say that back then when I was 11. Maybe I did. But yeah. And so I was like, oh my God. And so we rang this doorbell. I was like, trick or treat. I was like, can I use your bathroom? And they were like, no. They were like, no. I mean,
future shot.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, one of the guy's dads was walking with us. And I was like, we got to go back. We got to go back right now. And so we walked back towards his house. It doesn't take that much time. And I couldn't make it right on his front door. I literally shit like 10 pounds. Like, it was like leaking down my leg. It was bad.
So, to sum up Shane Lowry's weekend at the Cognizant Classic,
it's like us. He shit his pants
Just like us.
just like us. Yes.
Just like us. Awesome stuff. Anything else, Kenny Kim?
I wanted to bring up a little story, but I don't know. It seems like we've been talking for a while. This might take a little bit of time.
Is it an evergreen story? Go for it. Let's go there.
Fuck it. Let's talk about it. So I had a post on X. It gained a little traction.
Of course,
it got like 1.5 million views. It was about being a regular at a bar, right? So I posted. Somebody tweeted like, I don't get it. Like, are there really regulars at a bar? What's the benefit of being a regular at a bar? And so I posted it. And I showed a picture when I used to be a regular at this bar in DC of the drink that I would get when I walk in. It was a pint glass full of Crown Royal, like a 16-ounce pint glass. Go on my X feed. You'll find the post. You'll see the picture. And people were like, oh, well, I mean, like, shit, you must have spent so much money there all the time. You're an alcoholic. I mean, yes, back then, probably 100% true. Right. All that. But like, you know, what people were talking about was like, well, shit, you must spend thousands if you're a regular, you know, and they treat you like that. You know, you must be spending thousands of dollars on alcohol. Back then, yes, that was true. But at this specific place, it wasn't that often. I'm going to give you guys what it means to be a regular. There are different types of regulars at a bar. And someone who's worked in the service industry, you know these things. Have you guys ever been a regular at a bar? So the bar by your house?
The one at my house, but that's like more like a pool league. Every Tuesday night we go to pool league kind of thing. You know, I don't go belly up there pretty much every single. I don't go on my own.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to. There's different levels of regulars. Level 1, and this is the one you do not want to be type of regular. It's the regular that the servers and the people at the establishment hate. Like, you don't tip well. You always cause issues. But you still come. And so what happens as a server is, you know, the first time you come in to a restaurant or a bar and you're a shitty tipper or you're causing problems and shit like that, that shit sticks in a server's and bartender's head like glue, right? You remember people like that automatically. Like when I used to work at restaurants and we'd see like a family where we know their kids are going to fuck up the whole floor. We know they're going to tip like shit. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting to not get that table, right? We do whatever we can to the host to be like, bitch, don't do this. Don't do this to me. Okay. All right. And so that's the lowest level of regular. Every time they come in, you recognize them because of negative things. That is still a regular, right? That still constitutes that. Okay. The next step of being a regular is a guy who just comes in every day and drinks his little drinks and tips what he should tip and does his thing, right? Doesn't have to drink that much. Doesn't have to tip a lot. Just tips, you know, according to what he buys.
Status quo.
And so these guys take a little bit longer for servers and bartenders to notice because they're not really flashy. They're not handing out bills. You notice because they're there often, right? They don't have to drink a lot. When I bartended, we had a guy, Bud Light Dave. Every day, 5 o'clock, he'd come in and right after work, drink his 2 23-ounce Bud Lights, go the fuck home. Throw his $5 bill.
Go.
And just go to fuck home. Every day, right? Yeah. So we see him every day. So every now and then, we give him a free drink, right? Just for patronage, right? You know, people were bitching about, well, the owner is going to lose money, blah, blah, blah. What a lot of people don't realize when it comes to bars and the bars that sell alcohol heavily, okay? There's a spill tap. Like the owner knows and puts into his pricing a spill tap where, you know, you spill it or you're giving out free drinks because, you know, he knows that brings people back. Right. And he knows that makes the bartenders make more money. And you want to have happy bartenders for you to be able to have a successful run restaurant or a bar. And so there is a spill tap. And they, you know, bartenders use it for specific purposes. Right. Now, the next level of regular is the best level. And here's the thing. This was me at this bar in DC. I don't even tell the name because the bartenders don't work there anymore. But they were there. I don't think they got fired because of me. They were there for like 15 years. Okay, it was COVID. After COVID happened, they left, which a lot of the restaurant industry people, it's just what happened, including myself. And so when you go to a bar and you tip outrageously and you're a good customer, you're fun, right? You're not causing a scene. Yes, you're drunk, but you're not being an idiot, right? And then you tip out the ass, right? You don't have to go to that bar every day to get hooked up now, right? Because the bar I went to is called Jackpot, right across the street from the Verizon Center. We used to go before every single Wizards game, Caps game, whatever. So I'd go 7, 8, 9 times a year. That's it. And so I think the first time we went, it was such a cool bar because in DC, of course, you have to serve food. A certain percentage of your sales has to be food. But this bar is so old, their liquor license grandfathered out of that. Grandfather claused out of that.
Sick.
They don't serve any booze. It's literally down these stairs. It smells like mildew and popcorn.
Don't serve any food.
Yeah, they don't serve any food. No food, just booze. What they have is free popcorn, right? They have free popcorn. And so I was like, man, I've never been to a bar like this. It was packed, right? The first time I went, we had a great time. Left them a really nice tip. They weren't hooking us up then. Then I was like, man, we got to go back there when it's not crowded because it was such a cool spot. I wanted to know the history of it. And that's when I learned it was grandfathered in. And then that's when I learned, the people that go there, they if you're hungry, you're like, oh, I'm going next door to Chipotle. Who wants something? You just bring the food back in and grub out and drink your shit. It's awesome, right? Yeah. And so me and my buddies, after we went the first time, we went again maybe a few weeks later during the middle of the day. No game, so the place wasn't packed, right? And we were sitting there bullshitting with the bartenders. It was really cool. They hooked us up, gave them a fat tip, right? And then every single time after that, you go in, they got the Crown Royal pint ready. The bill's $24 for 3 pint glasses full of Crown Royal. Give them $100 tip.
Yeah.
Because in DC, it's 15 shots that I probably would have had right there, right? Maybe 12 to 15 shots. Each shot's probably $15, $18, right? So my bill's well over $200. So, I'll give them $125. I save $75, right? I still get a whole bunch of booze, right? So those are the 3 levels of being a regular customer. Do not be number 1. Do not be that regular. Regular 2 is fine. You tip fine. You come all the time. You might get a free drink or 2, right? But the thing is, you don't have to go to a bar every day or even all that often for you to get hooked up as a regular, okay? You go to the bar, make that good first impression, make that fat tip. The bartenders are going to know you right away. And they're going to take care of you from the beginning every time you show.
Yeah, baby. And tipping exorbitantly or over the top is something I do often. Especially I drink Alt Taverns when I go to Pool League, which is $3.50 a beer. If I wanted the Cookie Monster oatmeal stout or whatever, it's $8, for one of those. So I'm gonna pound a couple while I'm there, and I just tip double what my tab is because I'm buying $3.50 beers. So cool. And people working behind the counter, they need money, man. That it's not an ideal profession for them. They're not doing this some people do it for their whole life. I don't know, but you try to bridge something, trying to get them on their feet again. And I think there's good karma. At least,
when it comes to service industry, that's a misnomer.
Okay.
There are a lot of people are doing it as a transition job, or they can't do anything else. They expect it's just easy. But if you're a true craft, if you work hard enough and you're really focused on the job, it can be a very, very rewarding profession. Because when I looking back now, if I could go back to waiting tables, I would immediately if I can make the amount of money that I'm making now, which is probably not possible. But if I could, I would go back to waiting tables right now because what you're doing is you're giving joy to people, right? There's nothing more better feeling in life than making another person's night or another person's outing memorable. You were a part of that. When it comes to restaurants, right? Especially like high fine dining restaurants where, a lot of people are saving their money to try and eat at this place for one time, right? What you're doing when you're taking care of these people is you're making an impression. You're making a lasting memory in their lives. Look back for the people listening and for you, Byron, like in the times in your life where you've been around family and friends and it's been a great time. How often was that at a restaurant or revolving around food and booze? A lot, right? You make up these memories in life, as in restaurants, in bars, right? And if you're a good server and you make that outing memorable every time for every single guest, you can make a lot of money, first off, and you're doing something that makes people feel good and that makes you feel good, right? Like what I'm doing now, yes, I'm an estimator. I'm the director of estimating for a company. I'm the vice president of my company. I make a shit ton of fucking money. Not really a shit ton. I'm still like lower middle class, like where I live in the area right outside DC. But for the average amount of money that people make across the country, it's a very good sum. Okay. But like I put the numbers in and I don't get to do the back half of the job. I don't get to see the shit being done. I don't get to work and put my hands on the actual building of these places, right? Like it's not as satisfactory as what I did when I was a server. You have that one table, you take great care of them, you make sure, that they have a great time and they enjoy themselves and it's memorable. And, hopefully you're working in a restaurant that serves excellent food, You're sort of like the background star. You're sort of like the background guy where the food is the star, but the background people are fucking important, right? When it comes down to it. And so people who say that like servers are wasting their time, that it's a lazy person's job, that, it's because they can't do anything else, or that it's just a little transition for them to go do something else. Yes, there are a lot of people like that. But that is not everybody in service industry. And that is specifically when you go to high caliber restaurants, high end restaurants, those are lifetime servers. Those are servers that are there to make your experience the best and they're proud of it. And honestly, like I've not been happier, working for anything than the 10 years I've worked at this fine dining seafood restaurant. Because it was so much satisfaction in the job. The food was amazing. The service is great. And you see the smiles on people. Like, that you did a good job. And that feeling is wonderful.
Amen, Kenny. Amen, my brother. Awesome stuff. You have such a fascinating life. I think both of us, we told some really cool stories today. Like you never know what the hell people have been through. And for those of you that are showing up for the first time, use the timestamps. The best part of the show is the beginning where we just talk about life and talk about golf and anything else that relates to it. And don't be pissed off. Just timestamp for the next episode, baby. Or just watch it all. Whatever.
Next. If you just want to hear golf, just go to the timestamp and hear golf. But we ain't switching. All right. You're going to have to deal with these stories and shit like that in the beginning of the show because that's what we do. It's a 2-part show.
It is the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast brought to you by DraftKings. Use code FGD, people. We love you over there. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Tell your aunties, uncles, and grandmas all about us. Please. Kenny Kim, we've got the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week, playing at the Bay Hill Club and Lodge out in Florida. Tell us what we can expect this week.
All right, so the PGA Tour, it heads to Orlando, Florida this week for the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill Club and Lodge, like Byron said. The signature event, I think we're looking at like 70, 72, I don't know, somewhere around there. Golfers, 72. The cut is once again top 50 in ties. We had one of these a few weeks ago, the Genesis, and there was a lot of people that missed the cut, right? 21 people missed the cut. on that. Now, granted, I think it was still 40%, 6 of 6 in DFS, but still, we've had instances where it was like less than 20%. 6 of 6 in these type of fields. Now we'll see how this plays out. But in the past, the field had grown weaker after Arnie's death, but since this is now a Siggy event, the strength of the field pretty sick. One consequence of the field, being so weak in the past is that you have a lot of top tier golfers who have never really played the event or only played like once or twice, right? For GPPs, I don't really look into that narrative. I'm not worried about that. Cash, I sort of like them playing the course before. It's just a mental block that I have when I have cash lineup, that I want them to have at least seen the course at some point in time. I would like them to have made cuts there also, but sometimes when you look at that in an outward view, you look at how they were playing in 2017 when they missed a cut, in 2020 when they missed a cut. They weren't the same player as they are now, Nicholas Boygaard. So sometimes you gotta think about that. Euros and Aussies have tended to dominate the winner's circle here as the only Americans to win this, who have won this event before like 2022, right? Since from 2006 to like 2022, 2023, something around there, only 4 golfers, American golfers, won this event. Tiger, Scheffler, Bryson, Matt Everett. They're the only Americans that won, right? In those 16 years. That's about half the time, because Tiger probably won this event a shit ton of times, probably.
And Avery won it twice, and Scotty won it twice.
Yeah. So it's about, so I guess 6 out of the 16 years, right?
Yeah.
It was Americans. Now, in the last 3 years, since it's been a Siggy, we've seen more Americans. And I think that's sort of had to do with it. Scheffler won, Kitayama won, all right?
And me.
And Henley won, right, in the last 3 years. Now, again, this is a scheduling aspect, because prior to that, you look back and like the match play was after this, and you had like the Masters in 3 weeks. So a lot of Americans just didn't play here. All the Europeans came here because it was one of the first 1 or 2 events they came to play in America, right? And so they just dominated back then because all the top dogs came and played. Now that we got all the top dogs all the time for this event, I don't really worry about that narrative, but it's there. It's there that, the Euros and the Aussies have done well at this event. Now, the weather, of course, extremely important. I have not checked it. I'm going to, when it comes to weather, I'm just going to wait till Wednesday night as late as possible to check.
So far, it looks like cognizant weather. Pretty like normal wind.
Yeah, so like normal wind in the afternoon, light in the morning, stuff like that. Florida probably is what it sounds like. And we see winning scores range from -4 to -18. Right, pretty big difference. The last few years, and most of that is due to the lack of wind and how firm the course plays. The winning score by Scotty was -18, but Wyndham Clark was the only person double-digit under par. Right, I think Henley won last year at 11. Right, I mean, this is not a cupcake course. This is definitely on the difficult to very difficult spectrum of courses. Now, in 2 of the you know what? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this. In 2 of the last 10 years, the course has played, much easier because 2015 there were problems with the green, so they rolled slow and they weren't as firm. And then the year Scotty won, a little bit less wind, a little bit softer conditions, but again, Wyndham Clark was the only other person double digit on the par, so it still showed some teeth. What happens at this course, I would put this course as a very difficult course. And if the wind is typical, 10 to 20, 10 to 15 under par. There might be an outlier like Scott, right? But, that's where I think most of the leaders will be for this week. Now, another thing that happened in Bay Hill recently that sort of made it a little bit more difficult also is like after like 2022, like once it became like a Siggy, they started cutting the rough around the hazards, like the water. Like it used to be a lot thicker where, you roll the ball there, the rough will just catch it and won't go in, right? Now they've trimmed those edges down a lot around a lot of the water, around a lot of the bunkers and stuff like that. They're trying, at least, unlike a lot of other courses, it seems like they're trying to keep this course as difficult as possible. Maybe, for the king, right? for the king, for Arnold, right? Arnold don't want this shit. He'd roll in his grave if guys are shooting 22 under par at this event consistently. So much respect to the people at Bay Hill, because unlike Bay Hill, the Cog, not like that, right?
Not anymore.
What we heard, it's not the PGA's choice that the Cog, that course PGA National oversees. It is not their choice. It is the members who want it done so their course looks
pretty.
lush. I don't like that. I don't like that. And that's what Charlie Horschel got into it with. He got into it with a guy, probably a member of the club. Right?
Probably.
That overseas doesn't look that easy now, does it, buddy? Right? See what he said. But at this course, you don't have to worry about that. They're going to try and keep this shit as hard as possible. The only thing that's going to stop this course from playing that difficult is no wind and soft conditions. And hopefully we do not see that. All right, so let's get to the course. Bay Hill, 7,500 yard, par 72, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s. Good mixture of holes are bombing it off the tee will sometimes be an advantage, and sometimes going, at the right spot. Little placement golf with a 3-wood or a hybrid off the tee. I liked it. It's not just bring the driver out and wail away, though. We have seen a little bit more of that now with the technology of drivers becoming so much better and these young guys being so good off the tee.
So strong. Yeah.
So you're seeing a little bit more. I mean, technically 10 years ago, 7 years ago, when, we were talking about this course, we were like, less than driver, 100% less than driver. Now we're seeing a little bit more driver coming out on this course because golfers are more confident in keeping that tee shot accurate off the tee with that driver, with the technology that's there. Miss hits, you can still hit it pretty damn good out there. So, so that's why, I don't think that you can only look at like those plotters, like Henley, like last year he won. I mean, they still work. They're still probably the strongest way to go, but there's going to be some guys out there that are uber aggressive that are going to go, and hit that drive a bunch, the Rorys, the Obergs, the stuff like that. And if their driver's on point, they can win this event. Okay. Now, let's see, where was I? So the par 5s are reachable in 2 by most if the course is firm, and length off the tee is definitely going to help that. I would note that since there's a new course superintendent like a few years ago, and since he took over, you've seen, I think it was like 2022, you've seen more bombers top the list. That could also be because it's a Siggy, and the best in the world are normally hitting the ball long. All right. But the first page of the leaderboard got the great iron players, but bombers have become more and more in line with being on this leaderboard. In 4 of the last 9 years, the winner has shot double-digit under par on the par 5s, right? So like half the time, you really got to take advantage of these par 5s. And again, length is going to help that. Also, more recently, you've seen golfers attempt to bomb their way through the course. It worked for Bryson. It's worked for Rory, right? Like I said, these younger guys, way more aggressive off the tee. Now, off the tee, the golfers are going to face wide tree-lined fairways with strategically placed bunkers on almost every tee shot and water in play on nearly half the holes. The fairways actually get wider the farther from the tee box the drive goes. But the course, back in the day, it's still around the bottom 25, bottom half of driving distance off the tee. Still, I think this stat has been changing in the last few years. It used to be like bottom 20, right? Now it's sort of like bottom 25, bottom 30 when it comes to length off the tee. The superintendent decided he decided to make the landing areas from 300 to 325 from the tee much wider than the past. The average width of the fairway at 275 yards from the tee is 32 yards. The average width of the fairway at 325 yards from the tee is 39 yards. Many dog legs, water, thick, tall rough will make some golfers focus more on accuracy than distance. But again, Have we seen Bryson and Rory? Hitting it far and having wedge in your hands can work here even from the rough. Even though the fairways are above average in width, many slopes and undulations. So sometimes a good-looking drive off the tee can still find the thick rough, right? Because especially if it's playing firm, you get a ton of rollout here. On approach shots, golfers are going to see Bermuda grass greens that are elevated on some holes, surrounded by bunkers, thick rough, and are average in size with a lot of speed, 12.5 on the stimp, right? And many have slopes and runoff areas. Water's going to come into play on wayward approach shots. And if the windows pick up, watch for plenty of drives and approaches in the water. Byron, what are you looking for?
I love that, Kenny. I think when it came to, there's been like comments of some of these guys saying the greens are so fast and so slippery that they can't keep their putters, like the blade putters, stationary when they're addressing the ball. It like wants to slide on the grain of the green. Like that's how firm and fat. Like think about when you put your putter down on a normal course that you play at. It's to slide it on the grain is pretty tough. These guys, that's what they putting on like billiard tables, man. So it's going to be a fun week. Let's get into some boxes for Byron this week, friends. All right. So multiple boxes we're checking this week. 6 of them. Kenny mentioned very difficult scoring. Hellish scoring conditions are when the average round score is over par. Over the last 1,300 rounds at this event, the scoring average has been 1,100 of them over par on average. So, like you're getting ridiculously difficult conditions out here. If you want to take a look at those, here they are in the model at the Model Maniac Patreon, link in the description below. Use API 26 for 50% of your first month of the Golf Sicko tier. Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Pearson Coody, Corey Connors, Austin Smotherman, Robert McIntyre, Jordan Spieth, Ben Griffin, and Keegan Bradley, along with some Sam Burns and Tommy Fleetwood rounding out there, gaining 1.3 strokes and above in hellish conditions. If you want to dive deeper into these guys, I've got that over here for you. We can filter on hellish scoring conditions, and it's weighted nicely so you can see how does this apply to his other metrics. Scotty Scheffler, there's guys like Adrian Sadier that's going to be gaining 2 strokes per round. I don't even know if he's in this field because I'm all over the place. Yeah, I've got the old stuff in here, so fun stuff. But we're going to hellish conditions over here, difficult stuff. That's what we're looking for. Micro model is up next, which is my patented little thing that I do over here where we go and find all the various different holes that these guys are going to be playing, the amount of times that they're going to be hitting driver. As you can see here, Kenny, you were mentioning there's a couple club down spots. As I'm highlighting over here, there's the average driving distance is 246, 276, 275. That's 2 hybrids for these guys. That's 3 woods. That's 3 irons. And again, Kenny mentioned these greens can run, these fairways can get hard, and it can reward some accurate drivers of the golf ball because they're finding the fairway and getting that rollout. The rough is so thick, if you're missing it, it's going to stop right there. So you can see all the different stuff here, how often they're going to hit the green from a specific range on a specific hole, and then it kind of clumps that all together to give us a nice solid overall ranking for these guys all in all the different areas that matter at this golf course. So in the micro model rankings for this week, we have a top 10 of Scotty, Tommy, Xander, Rory, Sepp Straka, Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, Robert McIntyre, Hideki, and Russell Henley in the 10 spot. Ludwig missing out on every single box, but he is 11th in the micro model for those that care. Next up, we're going to be doing just strokes gained last couple periods of time. The last 12 months, the last 8 months, the last 4 months, the last 2 months, basically 2026, and how that goes to a average this week. The top guys for that, Scotty Scheffler, Tommy, Rory, Jake Knapp, Russell Henley, Fitzy, Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele, Decky, Cameron Young, and Siwoo Kim are your top 10 for raw strokes gained averages, giving each one of these boxes 25% weighting. If you want to do some prorated, yeah, they are over here. A couple guys just switch around, nothing too spectacular as it goes. So we're taking a look at a bunch of fun things here. As you can see, the model's a little dirty because I haven't had much time to fiddle with it here today. If we're looking for some course history this week, we can go over to the left-hand side of the model here and find out who's gained the most strokes at this golf course over the last 5 years. No surprise, Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, Henley, Spieth, Rory, Keegan Bradley, Michael Kim's only played here once, Andrew Putnam, Jason Day, and Chris Kirk are your top 10 for course history this week. If you want to take a look at the course history for these guys, you can go over to the course strokes gain stats and just see how they've gained strokes by round over here, because there are some guys that I want to point out, like Matthew Fitzpatrick. If you take a look at his strokes gained over here, it's boom or bust for this man. Every time he's gaining strokes at this golf course, it's over 2.2 strokes on the field. He doesn't gain like one stroke or half a stroke. He's just crushing or he's losing strokes. It's kind of crazy to see. So you can use this for showdown. You can use this for round by round betting. You can do it for all sorts of fun stuff. These are your guys that are course history thoroughbreds over here. And then we're just going to take a look at who's a solid golfer. I want to take a total of all the percentages here that I have for win rates, top 5, top 10, top 20, top 30, top 40, and made cuts. Add them all up together, and this is what we get. We get Scotty, Rory, Tommy, Russell Henley, Sepp, Xander, Decky, Bobby Mack. Justin Thomas is in a red box over here. He is returning. Hilariously, for some reason, he shows up for his first event after coming back for an injury to rough that's, thicker than the grass in the back of his yard that he hasn't mown with a broken back. So I don't know why you'd return to a golf course that's going to be this demanding after coming back from an injury. Him and Sanjay both making appearances for the first time this year after having an injury. Those are those guys. And then the model rank. It's basically taking all 5 of these other things, putting them together, and taking a peek at what that should be. Model Maniac rankings for this week. The top 10. Scotty, Tommy, Rory, Xander, Henley, Decky, Knapp, Robert McIntyre, Shane Lowry, and Alex Noren. Check those boxes for us this week, friends. That concludes the Byron's Boxes portion of the show. And as always, when we are asking you guys for comments below, let us know who is going to win this week. The first person to let us know the winner of the tournament, no duplicates. The first person gets a free month in the Model Maniac Patreon. I don't think we've had a winner the last 2 or 3 times, so it's been weird winners. I think this week we're going to have, there's only 72 people. So if there's 72 comments and you've read them properly, one of you is going to win. We get thousands of views on the show. Click a name in there, people. Just play the odds. At some point, the law of averages will be on your side. Would love to have you in there for a free month because you guys are amazing viewers. Kenny Kim, talk to us this week about the DraftKings betting portion of the show over here. Golf season has kicked off, and there's no better place to sweat the action than DraftKings Daily Fantasy, the ultimate destination for fantasy golf fans. Right now, our partners at DraftKings are giving new customers a shot to play free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. It's simple to play. Build your dream lineup while staying under the salary cap, then sit back and watch as your players rack up points. Every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt, feel the intensity of every shot. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter promo code FGD to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app for your shot today. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 18 plus in most states. Restrictions apply. Minimum $5 deposit required. One single-use $3 ticket rewarded that expires in 14 days. Ends March 25th. See terms and conditions at DraftKings.com/promotions. Sponsored by DK.
All right, so I got 4 bets this week. I got room for one more. I might add something before Wednesday, but I got 4 this week. My first one's going to be Rory McIlroy, 14-1 with 3 places. Now, I looked at the numbers on the site that's open 365 days a year. You can get the 3 place each way bet. And so what that does is that inflates his outright number. And so I compared his 14-1 with 3 places to his 10-1 enhanced win, because I thought about just betting just his win only number, right? At 10-1. And so if you bet Rory at 10-1 with the enhanced win number, I would need to bet 3 units to win 30. My goal is to win 30 units. $50 is a unit for me. So I would have to bet $150 at 10-1 and I want to win $1,500 minimum. That's 30 units for me. So I would have to bet $150 at 10-1 for him at win only to go ahead and get that money, right? At 14-1 with 3 places, because of course it was each way betting. You're making 2 bets. You're making one on the outright, one on the each way, right?
You have to make that same bet.
Yep. If you put in 3.1 units, $160 for me. 3.1 units, you get the 1,500. You can win 15. You can win 30. Is basically what it comes down to, because you win the each way and you win the outright. So that total would be combined for 30 units, but you're only spending 3.1. So you're spending 3.2 units. So you're spending 0.2 more units than the win only, right? Which for me is $10 more, right?
Yeah.
$10 more. But then you get the safety net of him finishing in second or third, and you still get paid out a little bit of dough. For 0.2 units, that seems well worth it to me, right? Instead of betting $150, I'm betting $160 to win the same amount if he won the event, right? But if he doesn't win and he pulls a Shane Lowry and comes in second or third, I still get a little bit of money with that each way. So this seems, I'm not a math guy, all right? I'm the weird Asian dude whose best subjects were English and history, right? And so even I can look at this and be like, wait, this just makes too much sense to bet here. So
it's like blackjack insurance. It's like blackjack insurance.
Something like that, yeah. Very, very similar, right? But you're barely putting any more money into it. I'm putting $10 more into it, and I get that safety. And if I win, I still get the same amount that I would have won if I took the 10-1 enhanced win only. So, we've seen Rory, right? After his performance at the Genesis, it's pretty easy to see that it looks like he has a very high probability of winning something in Florida, right? I mean, it just looks like it, either here or at the Players. I think he's going to win one of those two. The guy putted like a jackass, right? If he can just putt just a little bit better on Sunday, right? He wins, right? So the ball striking's there. Everything's looking good. The drive, everything, course history, it's all there. He's going to win one of these next 2 events. I'm going to bet. If he doesn't win this one, I'm betting him at the Players too. If he doesn't win this one, I'm betting him at the Players. He's winning one of these 2. Okay? So that's my first bet. Rory McIlroy, 14-1 with 3 places. Next, Oberg. I can't get off him, especially these numbers. Here's the thing. 35-1 with 8 places. You can get him 45-1 win only, right? Here's the thing. I expect Oberg to be like a top dog at some point in time. I think he's going to be an elite player, like have a chance to be top 5 in the world for a very extended amount of time. That's the skill level that I see watching him with his swing. Beautiful swing, beautiful contact, the way he strikes his woods, the way he strikes his irons. From the eye test, it looks like a Rory. It looks like a Scotty. He doesn't have everything down yet because, of course, he's young, right? That'll come, right? But at some point in time, you're not going to see these numbers from Oberg anymore, at least in my opinion. I think he's going to be very good for a very, very long time. So when I see 35-1 with 8 places on a course like this, a tough course, I'm gonna go at him, right? So let me read where I was. Let's look back. He hasn't been the best this season so far, I know, and that's why his number is what it is. But he looked like he was getting back on track at the Genesis. He gained strokes in every major strokes gain category for the week. The last few times he's done this, he's followed it up with another really, really strong finish, including both of his wins, right? If you look at his career numbers, this is the place where I think he should win. Gaining over a stroke on the field in his career on difficult or very difficult courses. Gaining almost a stroke on the field in tournaments with very, very strong fields, right? Gaining 1.5 strokes on the field on long courses. Best putting surface, Bermuda. All of this from the rabbit hole, is where I got all this information from. I think this is a course where he's going to be good at for years and years and years to come. And if his career path goes the way I think it is, I don't think we'll see 35 to 1 8 places for him on this course 2, 3, 4 years from now and for the future afterwards. Because I think this guy is going to be stud. I think he's going to be legit. I think he's going to be better than Hovland. I think he's going to be like that next dude. So give me 35 to 1 with Oberg. Next, Højgaard, Nicholas, 55 to 1, 8 places. I like the 8 place number a lot, right? Because you're getting 1/5. So I'm getting 11 to 1 for a top 8 finish, which I think is a pretty good number for him in this field, right? So he comes in 5th in my model for the week. 3 top 6s in his last 4 events. In the last 24 rounds, he's inside the top 13 in this field in strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach, strokes gained ball striking, overall proximity from 150 to 200, overall proximity from 200 plus. You're going to see a lot of shots from 150 to 175 and a lot of shots from 200 plus. Dude is playing like a stud. I'm going to ride him until the wheels fall off. I've been betting him a bunch. If I had him with 8 places last week, I would have cashed. I had him, a few weeks ago with 8 places. He got me that each way. I'm going to continue to go at it because the game looks good, man. The game looks good. Next, Sepp Straka, 60 to 1 with 8 places. Now, is Straka the Rodney Dangerfield of the PGA? Like, along with having the same body type, right? He also gets no respect. 0 respect, right? He was like 80 to 1 a Pebble and got me that nice each way payout with the runner up, right? He finished 5th here last year. When you look at the odds, right, and you see the guys are like 60 to 1, right? You're looking at the guys around that 60 to 1 area that Straka's at. Let me bring this up here. You got like Bridgman, Gerard, Bhatia, Spieth, JT who's coming back from injury, Keegan, Højgaard, Cootie, Jason Day, Connors, Spawn. Like, do any of those guys, you think any of those guys can win? Like, I mean, yes, they can win. But does anyone have a better opportunity? Like when you're just looking at those names than Straka in that group? Like, the guy's a proven winner. Elite fields, hard courses. He's done it all in the past, right? Give me Sepp 60 to 1 with 8 places here. So those are my 4 that I have right now. It's going to be Rory at 14 to 1 with 3 places. Oberg 35 to 1 with 8 places. Højgaard 55 to 1 with 8 places. Straka 60 to 1 with 8 places. I might add one more, looking at like Adam Scott, looking at like maybe Pock Eater, something like that. Maybe if I want to go with like a guy down below. But like once you get below 60 to 1, I just don't see many guys that I really, really do like. It's just me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure now some guy 80 to 1 is going to go out there and win. But it's just I just don't see it.
It's a weird course, Kenny, because I was chatting with Darbo, Sweet Spot DFS on my Sunday night show on Back Nine Bets that we do for 3 hours. You think this show's long, but you do 3 hours over there. And I forgot what I was going to say. What were you saying?
I don't remember at this point in time.
God damn it.
All
Recent form or course history, I think, is something that, a lot of the time you're leaning recent form. We kind of took a look at like guys like Keegan and Corey who don't typically play the greatest, to start the year, that show up here and just fit the golf course perfectly.
Keegan was one that I thought of too at 60 to 1. I definitely thought of Keegan, but you're right. He hasn't looked great. And that's probably why that I didn't click him.
Yeah.
But what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And, you might not get a win out of them, but I haven't made too many placement bets because, DFS, you can just see the number right next to the guy and you can like make your assessment there. With the betting, you got to go find the best numbers and all that stuff. So I will be rocking and rolling with all of my extra placements and things on tomorrow's show, Tuesday at 3 Eastern. So I've got 2 placements, and one of them's an each way with Rory McIlroy at 11-1 at the book that's floating on a river out there. So that's got 5 places, and same thing with you, Kenny. I think the form here is too good. The second place at Riv, and his approach play at Riv and Pebble is only trumped by 2 other events in the last 25 starts, and it was the Players, which he won, and the Masters, which he won. So he is like sizzling with the irons right now.
Crispy right now.
It is just delightful to see, and it's going to come tumbling down on us because it's too square of a play, but it just makes too much sense to just bet the guy that can launch it out there, and then the irons are just sensational because we saw before we got some rain at the Cog, buddy, they were hitting some 9 irons and 8 irons in there that were rolling on. You know, we got a bit of rain and it softened things up a little bit, and then all of a sudden we saw what could happen when greens get soft. Rory can hit it so high that, you know, these greens can be super, super rock hard, and he'll still keep them on there for some extent. He's never lost putting around this golf course, I don't think, or if he has, it's been a total of 1 stroke. Like a quarter of a stroke per round type situation. So if you just take a look at every aspect of his game, it's sensational when it comes to consistency, and I'm just really thrilled about the approach play.
The last time I bet Rory was 9-1 at Wells, and he won. So it's not like something that, you know, we don't normally bet favorites all the time. And you're right, people might think it's like a square bet, but God, he's looking good.
10-1, 11-1 is still very fair. He checks all 6 boxes along with Scotty Scheffler this week. Scotty's 3-1. Rory's 10-1. You know, like, we've seen what Rory can do here, and he just finished second at Riv. So, like, he's playing good. I was on him there, obviously, as well, and got that top 5 at least. So that was nice to see. So we've got that top 5 at plus 275, essentially, if you're each weighing it. So go ahead and clock that one in there. And then my second and final bet for you guys this week is Matt Fitzpatrick, 30-1. The issue with him, hasn't had the greatest finishes over the last little while. That's not a problem because also I got confused with Rory and Fitz. Fitz has not lost putting at Bay Hill in 11 appearances, I think. So every single time he showed up here, he's gained putting, and he can't figure out how to putt anywhere else right now. So one of them's got to give. He's ball striking it probably as good as Rory at the moment, and just can't seem to find the bottom of the hole when he gets on the green. So I'm looking to get Fitz here. In his last 5 starts, he won the DP World Tour Championship. So he's got a win back in November, and, you know, a couple top 15s, top 25s in the last couple of events, putting like a complete loser. So if he can at least gain a little bit of putting strokes this week, the rest of his game is right there. So I think he can absolutely take care of business for us at 30-1. Again, that was early this morning on a Monday. I'm seeing 20s out there now. So
like right now on the set, it's open 365 days a year. He's 20-1 with 8 places, and that's out of my budget. Have left.
It's tough. It's really, really tough.
35-1 with 3 places.
Eee.
Yeah, it's either going to be 30. My final bet's either going to be Fitzy at 35-1 with 3 places, or it's going to be Adam Scott at 40-1 with 8 places. So we'll see how that goes. I can only afford one of those guys. And I'll be using 8 units this week instead of 7, but I've been floating between 7 and 8 units all year. That's basically what it's going to be.
Yeah. You know, you're not doing anything too crazy. And then if you want Matthew Fitzpatrick for a top 20, minus 118 at DraftKings, ties paid in full, betting 1.2 units to win 1. The floor for him, given the way he's striking the ball right now, is top 20. You know, and if he putts badly, he can still cash that for us. If he putts well, we are cooking, baby. You know, like, I think we'll be absolutely in the mood. So 30-1 at enhanced at the Rivers Place, and it's a bet that I think I really like this week. You know, I think a lot of people will be on Fitz, kind of like they were last week on Nico. You know, so maybe we can get this one home for us and everybody.
Yeah, else. I need a win, man. It's getting sort of depressing. It's been about 12. Now, here's another thing. Here's another thing about betting favorites. My last 2 winners was Ben Griffin in the fall, where he was a 14-1 favorite. And it was Tommy Fleetwood at the Tour Championship, 10-1 without Scotty. And he was the second favorite without Scotty. So
You pick your spots.
Winning bets, right? Recently. So again, thinking about Rory, sometimes you just got to go on that. Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and pay the money because they just look so good.
Yeah. As long as Rory doesn't test out new TaylorMade woods and things like he did last year this time when I was on him, he'll be playing great. Like the irons and the approach games, too good to pass up right now on Rory McIlroy. So let's dive into some blood, sweat, and DFS tiers for this week. Kenny Kim, we've got a guy by the name of Scotty Scheffler sitting at 14-1 who is getting absolutely waxed by Rory on the approach front right now. Scotty, he's the best iron player in the world over the last 3 years. Not quite got it right now. And I'm curious what you're going to be doing with him trying to win this tournament for the third time at $14,100.
Yeah, 14,100. I mean, I got no problem if you want to play him. It's Scotty. It's a semi no cut event, right? There are guys in the 6K range that you can use. But it's hard to make a lineup with him, man. It's difficult. If you could find the right one, you can win a GPP with him, I think. Right? Yeah. Because I would expect his ownership to still be over 20%, but we're not seeing the Scotties of like 30, 40% Scotties that we've seen from him recently. So you're getting a discount on the ownership, at least comparatively to what it used to be with Scotty, right? Basically this is because of one round in an event. Outside of that one round, he basically wins every tournament he plays. right? I mean, I know. He's like the best in the other 3 rounds. So I can't be like, no, you shouldn't play Scotty. If you want to play him, this is probably the week because you're going to get him at 20 to 25 instead of 30 to 35% or 40%. You're going to get a little bit of, because Rory's going to catch a lot of action this week. And of course,
absolutely is
my first cash game cornerstone. Very, very simple. We talked about him, his course history here, how good with his irons that he's been looking at. He just makes a lot of sense, and you could still build a really solid lineup. With Rory at 11,600 or something like that. It's not as backbreaking as trying to roster Scotty, and so I do expect Rory to be very heavily owned this weekend. If you want to play that game 3 play with Scotty, go ahead. I got no problem with that. I will not be. I was
also chatting to somebody that frequents the grounds of many PGA events throughout the year, and they have not seen Meredith Scheffler out there much lately. We've been speculating. There's family pregnant, maybe. You don't want to be trudging out there with the belly and the baby. And there's a chance, when
got some stuff going on that we don't know
when
about.
Meredith is throwing up in the middle of the night, you might not be getting your best sleep, So that Thursday that he shows up.
Well, if she's pregnant and they have that, young child and she's not feeling well, Scotty's got to take up the duties.
Yeah, the duties. So we'll see how that works out for him. Congrats to him if that's the case. We are completely speculating here, people. So, do not take this for gospel at all. We're just trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with the world's best golfer right now on a Thursday. So that's my guess. Tommy Fleetwood and Xander Schauffele round out the 10K range. Can you hear him?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Let's go ahead and play the music here because my hustle play of the week is going to be up top. My hustle play of the week this week is going to be Xander Schauffele. Right? You look at the top 7 highest priced guys. Scotty's going to be higher on the Xander. Rory's going to be higher on the Xander. Fleetwood's going to be close to Xander, right? Fitzy is going to be more owned than Xander. Colin probably more owned than Xander. Henley won last year, probably close to Xander. So you're getting a chance to roster the lowest owned guy of the top 7 guys in DraftKings, and that is a thing that I like to do. A lot of the time, especially in these signature events or these extremely strong field events, locating that one guy in like the top 7, top 10 highest owned golfers that will be the lowest owned. Because they're that price because they're good. They're that price for a reason. They have skill. They can win, right? This is the easiest way, I think, to get leverage when it comes to DFS, is finding these plays in the top of the field, right? Because these guys are good. The chance that they succeed much higher than the guys below. Right? They can still bust. It's golf, of course. They can still bust, right? But when it comes to like a game theory type play, give me Xander, right? For this week. You look at him. He looked good the last time out. He had that. I think he gained strokes in every strokes gain category. And another thing that's going to keep his numbers down a little bit is, I don't think he's had the best course history here, right? And so you're going to get him at an ownership discount. A player of that caliber at an ownership discount just makes too much sense for DFS. Makes too much sense from a numbers analytic nerd type game theory type thought, right? It just makes too much sense. I will be playing Xander Schauffele. He will be my hustler play of the week.
Let's go, Kenny. Exactly. I mean, he's $10,000. A year ago, this was the second best golfer in the world, undisputed. Got injured, couldn't find his groove, so it is what it is after some. Yeah, you never know what's happening. And I do think that course history is pretty poor. If you take a look, the next person that's got a worse finish here than Xander over the last 5 years is Jake Knapp at $8,600. When he finished 57th and hit 1 million balls out of bounds.
Like top 25, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a top 25.
Top 30s here. It's not like he's been like the worst, right?
Yeah, top half of the field type stuff. Not what we expect from Xander at a venue like this, but he is very impressive when it comes to these majors, and things like that. So if this course plays like a major, difficult as balls, I trust Xander to get up and down from anywhere, and he showed us at Riv that he was very capable of getting that. The problem with Xander was the short game. He wasn't chipping and putting great. Riv gave him a lot of opportunities to kind of figure that stuff out, and I think he could be finding a nice little early trend here for Xander Schauffele. So we'll see what he can get up to. Obviously, I'll be playing Rory McIlroy with everybody else as well at 11-6. I think I'll be fading Scotty. Checks all 6 boxes, but we're not getting lead. Yeah, we need to have a reason to fade the man. If the irons aren't great right now, I'll wait for him to show me that he can, and then go after him.
13,000 and we playing him, right? 14-1 is hard, right? To fill out the rest. It is not easy.
Yeah, because the first person to check 2 boxes is like
play. Let me say, I do expect Xander to be double-digit owned, right? Usually you want to be single-digit owned. The reason he's my hustler play is out of the top 7, I expect him to be either the lowest or the second lowest owned in the top 7 highest price guys.
Yeah, there'll be a 7K option somewhere that is higher owned than Xander potentially this week. So would you rather have Xander at that ownership, or would you rather have whatever 7K guy comes steaming in this week kind of thing? I might be wrong, so that's just one way to kind of look at it there. I think a nice way to play balanced is with Matt Fitzpatrick at $9,800, Kenny, in the 9K range to begin. He's going to be very, very popular, and especially being $200 cheaper than Xander, I think that's going to suck ownership away from your boy. So
when it comes to ownership, I don't mind elite players being highly owned, and I'm still rostering. The worries are the guys that are like 7K. The worries are the guys that are like 8K, 6K. Those chalky guys are the ones I worry about. You get a top flight guy up top. I mean, he's going to be 28% owned. Fuck it.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why they are that price, and they priced high enough to believe that they will follow through on that. And in the words of Toe Tag and Tambo, everybody's favorite Canadian, it's not who you play, it's how you play them. So if you are playing a chalky Matt Fitzpatrick, don't shove him in there with all the other chalk. Got to build around him, play him with Xander, that kind of stuff. So average.
Yep. What I like to do is whatever site you use to get your ownership, your projected ownership, add up the people in your lineup with that projected ownership, and hopefully they're in that 60 to 80% range. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be for total ownership. 60 to 80% or less, or even less. That would be great.
This week, maybe 90 to 100 because it's a 72-man field. Bigger fields, it's a lot easier to find. So, just think with your brain, people. Understand who's playing the field, how you're playing them, and go from there. I will also be rostering Russell Henley, the Sex Panther, who finishes inside the top 20 every 70% of the time, 100% of the time. So he's fifth in the model rankings for me. He checks 5 boxes, one less than Scotty and Rory. The long-term form for Henley is fantastic. He hasn't quite had it, so to speak, this year with the 8th place, I believe, at the Amex being his best finish. That's fine. We've got a win here last time he played, a 4th and a 13th in the last 4 times he's showed up here. So he is one of these guys that's ultra accurate. The firmer this course, the better, because he's going to be pounding those drives 270 and then rolling out to like 320 type situation. So he's ultra accurate, very good with the long irons. And over the last 12 months, he's finished inside the top 5 22% of the time. So you're getting high-end results from this man who likely will be in the same ballpark, I would say, as Xander Schauffele when it comes to potential ownership. Yeah, I think people disrespect him quite a lot. Colin Morikawa will be likely. He was almost my Statfish of the week. Doesn't check any boxes for me, but the long-term numbers aren't realizing that he's had a complete change of mindset. He's a different guy now. I'm not going to lean into the model that much this week with Colin.
I like Colin better than Russell this week.
That checks out.
I don't know if I'm going to play him. We'll have to see. I only make 4 lineups now, right? And so we'll see if I have enough room. But I do like Colin more. It looks like he's changed. The confidence is there. He had the win, and he came back the following tournament and played decent. He was in that first page of the leaderboard for a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
The confidence is back. It's there. He's having a child, and so he's got the nappy factor going for him. And of course, his ball striking. I mean, when you look at the iron game and you compare it between those two, in the last 24 rounds, Colin is like 9th in his field, strokes gained approach. Russell's 34th. The iron game hasn't been as good as Russell normally is lately. But again, he's coming back as a defending champion. So of course he knows how to play this course well. But I like Colin. I don't know if I'm going to play him. We'll see. I'm definitely going to play Fitz. And then this 9K range is not really my favorite. Siwoo pops hard, but I think he's too expensive, right? I don't know. I mean, I know he's been playing well, but like, I don't know. I think maybe Nash should probably be higher than him. I think Oberg should be higher than him. I think he's just slightly too expensive for me, even though he comes in second in my model.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he ran out of steam a little bit, after finishing 3rd, 2nd, and 6th in some normie events, showed up to the Siggies, 45th and 34th, in the 2 signature events, the moment the big boys showed up. So I think Scotty Scheffler may have kind of taken a piece of his soul as a Dementor. We should call Scotty Scheffler a Dementor because, he just sucks a piece of you away every time you play with him. But I've got, better tricks on the mind, Kenny Kim. Bobby Mack, $9,000. Flat. Grinder. Euro. Chipping and putting. Got some pop off the tee. 8th in the model for me. Finishing inside the top 20 more than half the time. 11th place finish here last year. So we're getting a potential course horse that we can establish the baseline here at this venue. Only one, he's got a 36th back in 2021 as well. So he hasn't really necessarily played that great so far this year, but again, I'm not too worried about what people have got up to this year, so long as you've shown me that you can fit the course that we're going to be playing this week, which is a hard one. We haven't had a course that's played very difficult so far, Ken. We've had Genesis went deep, Farmers went deep, and then we've had Amex, Sony, and Pebble, and the Waste Management where guys have gone well under par. So this is the first true test of like difficult golf that these guys are going to have to overcome. So I'm kind of leaning into those guys that may not have played well, but can play well in these conditions. I'm out on Lindeque. I don't think he's going to drive the ball well enough at a course like this to give you a top 10. He's got the scrambling ability and the iron play out of the rough to give you a solid finish, because that's what he does. But I think you need to have some either distance, or accuracy at a course like this. Anybody else you got there, Kenny?
I like Bobby Mack, like you said. But in all honesty, I like the 8K range a lot.
Let's chat about them.
I'm a big fan. Well, my second cash game cornerstone is going to be Oberg. Basically, all my bets are my cash game cornerstones this week. Pretty simple stuff. Again, we talk about Oberg, and when you look at how he performs on courses like this, like I spoke about in the betting segment, I mean, a stroke in the field He's gaining a stroke, over a stroke on the field in his career on difficult or very difficult courses, gaining almost a stroke on the field in tournaments with very strong fields, gaining over 1.5 strokes on the field on long courses. Best putting surface, Bermuda. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play Oberg, second cash game cornerstone. But man, I really do like especially the bottom half of this range. Jake Napper's just playing really well. It took me, I was off of him a few weeks ago and I got back on him. When he, at the last event, he played pretty well. Again, that was another one of the each ways. There was 3 places where he finished top 6 or something. And, I had a top 3 on him. I think his game sounds like it should suit this course with his strength off the tee, decent approach game, and he's been putting his ass off, right? Dude's just been a putting machine, really good on par 4s. He's 8th in strokes gained par 4 scoring in the last 24 rounds, 1st in strokes gained par 5 scoring in the last 24 rounds. And that's in this field. That's with everybody in this field is where he's ranked. So I'll go back to Knapp. I love Goddard and Kitayama down here in the bottom. Goddard a little worried because when you play Goddard, at least now with the skill set that he has, you want the courses to be probably as straight as possible, right? He can hit that nice straight shot drive. When you got some dog legs, when you gotta sort of play the strokes and stuff, I'm a little bit less, but I still like him at this price. I think at this price, it's value for a guy who's won twice already. We know he's got the skills to get it done. Okay. So I like him. I like Kitayama right underneath, runner up. Last time he played, former winner here. He's beaten the big boys at this event. This was a Siggy event. The first year of the Siggy event, he won, right? The guy is playing good golf. He has that length. I love Kitayama this week at that $8,200 price. What do you like?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to try and squash your comms there about Goddard, Kenny. We saw him at the Sony when he needed to cut a dog leg. Can rip a 192 draw around the corner, baby. He's totally cool adapting his shot shape for the shot that's required. But
that's consistent off the tee, when he has to do that. He can still do it. I don't think he's as consistent. When you see him on courses like a Waste Management or like a Firestone or something like that, where it's just like straight, right? I feel like that's perfect for him. He just does that little short, low flight, let the ball roll. It's beautiful. He's so consistent at that shot. I mean, that shot is just, put it in the bank type shot, right? And you're right. I mean, he can do the other thing. It's just not quite as consistent, but I still like him this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I love him more so in windier conditions. And we're going to get 5 to 10 mile winds. And that's currently. It could get calmer. It could get windier.
10 to 20, 10 to 20 is a decent amount of wind, which you saw last week at the Cog, right? When you got that 10 to 20, I mean, the overseed didn't even matter. It still played sort of hard.
Kicked some ass, especially around Florida where the margins for error we saw with Nico. He hits that thing a percentage softer or less hard or whatever. He's in the water. He doesn't win the tournament potentially. So you are running on a razor's edge at these kind of venues. So being in control of your golf ball is paramount. I think he's absolutely one of those guys that can do it. At $8,100, I'm going to be going back to Shane Lowry. Maybe people get off of him because
he will
of last week and the mental turmoil that he may be in. We went and deep dived this man. He's shown up here with heartbreak way more often than you'd imagine. And he's also got an 8th, a 24th, and a 2nd. Sorry, I'm lying to you. A 3rd and a 7th in his last 2 starts. And one of those was where he basically threw the Cog away again. So he shows up here expecting to feel like absolute shit because that's what happens. And he shows up and takes care of business. He's one of these accurate guys that's going to keep it in the fairway as well. 9th in the model for me.
But with a possible low ownership and what you just said, I'm going to take a look.
Yeah, if it was the first time he had heartbreak at the Cog, I would be a little more skeptical. this is another ho-hum day for the Lowry man. So we'll, unfortunately, so he's used to dealing with these kind of things. But we had a really good week so far with the Statfishes of the week friends. We had Sam Burns miss the cut of the Genesis, and then we had Davis Thompson, I think, finished like 60th last week. So he made the cut, but didn't really contribute for any upside last week. So I'll take Sam Burns as a catch, and I'll do Davis Thompson as a catch and release type situation. We didn't get totally catfished there last week. This week, we don't want to be looking at guys that don't check any boxes. We don't want to be looking at guys that haven't had fantastic form. And there's some lack of course history in the most recent periods of time for this man. He's $8,800. He's losing you money across the board in the win, top 5, top 10, top 20 markets. He's typically overpriced for the upside he provides you. Patrick Cantley is going to be this week's Statfish of the week. Make sure that you aren't just getting suckered in because he's an $8,800 golfer. He's finished 31st and 36th here the last 2 times he's played. 2023, he did finish 4th, but he was a totally different golfer. I think 2023 might have been the last year he won a tournament or something like that. So it's been forever since he's played good golf. His run into this week, no top 10s. He missed the cut at the Farmers, which is a kind of a good comp course for this venue without the water. There's tons of high rough and narrow fairways that you have to hit. I don't think he typically does the best in those kind of conditions. His strokes gained on hellish conditions is only 0.6 strokes gained. He gains 2.1 on medium courses and over a stroke on easy courses. I prefer Patrick Cantley at Birdie Fest. This week, he may not show up for us. He could potentially miss the cut at $8,800. Don't get caught out this week. Patrick Cantley is the Statfish of the week. Other names that I do not mind in this range, Ben Griffin. I think he's also kind of gone under the radar the last little while. He also thrives in hellish conditions. It's his best metric of the 4. And he's got a very well-rounded game. He's a very good scrambler. The more you have to chip, the more you have to putt, the more I like Ben Griffin. And you have been spot on, Kenny, with your assessment of the psychotic marriage that he had in December. We started off kind of hot at the Sony, and that was his best finish, 19th. He hasn't finished inside the top 20 since. I think a venue like this could absolutely get him back on track. We had a 14th place finish for Ben Griffin here in 2023. So he can chip and putt his way around this golf course well enough. He's a very, very good long iron player. And we're going to see a lot of that this week off the tee on the layup holes and into the greens on par 4s that are long and the par 5s as well. So he's a sneaky option. And then Victor Hovland at $8,500. I think he's more of a system play. You want to make sure that you have him in a couple lineups. If you're playing a lot, 1 or 2, if you aren't playing that many. We don't know. He doesn't know. The aliens don't know when he's going to play well.
But he's going to play well at some point.
He's going to play well at some point. And it's Florida now. It's a ball striker's paradise. That's typically his best situation. He's got a 2nd and a 10th here in the last 4 starts, a 10th at the Waste Management and a 14th back in Dubai. So we're getting some good stuff from the Vic, and his second best split is the hellish conditions. So I'm cool on him there. But one of my favorite plays is Shane Lowry this week at $8,100 in the 8Ks. Moving into the 7s, Kenny, who have you got down here?
I sort of like the guys in the top 3 guys. I like Minwoo, Justin Rose, and Adam Scott this week. I think I'm going to go with one of them. I'm trying to look up Minwoo's history here. Not great. But
Not great, Bob.
A 12th and a 2nd coming into here. You get his length off the tee. If he can keep his drive in play, hopefully, you could do something. We'll see. Rose is another guy who I think, you can get at lower ownership, but we've seen he has a talent to lift this thing up and take down a trophy. The guy works his ass off. He's prepping. He wants to do everything he can to make this last little run of his career successful. And it's been going pretty well this year with that win. I don't think he's going to be very highly owned. You can get him at a discounted ownership, and a dude can pop. I'll take a little bit of Rose. I really like Adam Scott. I really, he's my favorite. Him, Højgaard, and Straka are going to be my 3 favorite plays in the 7K range. I had bet Adam last week before he withdrew, right? And so I'm thinking about betting him again this week. Aussies have done well traditionally at this event. He's coming off a really good finish the last time we saw him. His iron game off the tee has been really, really good. Ball striking top 10 in the field in the last 24 rounds. Give me some Adam Scott this week in GPPs. And of course, my final 2 cash game cornerstones. First, it's going to be Højgaard. What is he at, like 7? The first is going to be Straka at
$7,400 for Straka.
$7,400. We spoke about him. He has the upside to win this event. And again, this is a small cut, reduced field. You look for more upside than safety when it comes to cash, right? Usually around this price. That's why I played Billy Horschel last week, right? At the Cog. It's a full field event. The guy had made 7 cuts in a row here. Really hasn't done that much, but at 7,100, you want him to just make the cut as your lowest price guy in your cash lineup, right? Just make the cut, get me my 66, and give me my cash, right? It doesn't work that way all the time, right? But that's
first
the
step in the right
frame.
direction.
That's the mind frame you have when you're making that play in that type of situation. In this situation, with in cash games with hardly any cut, you're looking for more upside, even in this 7K range. And Straka, he can win. I think he can win this event. He has a 5th place last year. And you got Højgaard. When it comes to current form, stats, the way he's played, I did speak about how he had not played this course very well. He's not the same guy, at least not right now. The guy's had 3 top 6 finishes in his last 4 events, right? So my cash game cornerstones for this week are going to be Rory McIlroy at 11,600, Ludwig Åberg at 8,400, Straka at 7,400, and Højgaard at 7,200. It leaves a lot on the table. It leaves like 15-4 in your lineups left. And I think right now I was thinking about like Kitayama and Gerard, right? Goddard and Berger or something like that, or like Adam Scott and somebody else. It's going to be some type of thing with that. Right now, I have Kitayama and I have Gerard because Gerard, again, my lowest price guy. In this, he's playing good golf. Get me a top 25 finish would be cool, and that's just what he's been knocking those top 25 finishes off. And the thing is, he when it comes to stats, he looks good. 13th in this field, overall ranking in my model, with tee to green top 15, off the tee top 20, approach game 2nd, ball striking 4th, right? Putting 27th. Like, the numbers are there, the results are there, and to get your lowest price guy in cash at 7,200 to be playing like he is now, I'm just going to go ahead. I think I am going to lock in Gerard and Kitayama as my final 2 cash plays.
Gerard lost 1 million strokes putting in the first couple rounds at the Cog. If he didn't do that, it would have been the 5th time in 6 starts this year that he's gained strokes putting, Kenny. So he's now lost at the Genesis Invitational and at the Cog. I think we can potentially see him starting to find the putter again. He was also the favorite last week. I don't know if he was comfortable being the favorite. This week, he's a nobody, so maybe he's just going to fly under the radar, less pressure on him. Let's see what he can do. I'm going to be teeing up Keegan Bradley. And, we've seen the poor form for him coming into the week. It's been really poor, but a 5th, a 10th, an 11th, and a 10th in 4 of the last 5 appearances at this golf course. He's a very good total driver of the golf ball, very sharp around the greens as well. And he's $7,500, man. Like I said, the course history means more to me this week than recent form. Give me Keegan Bradley. Same thing with Sepp Straka. You've mentioned all of that stuff. I'm going to say Jordan Spieth. Similar situation as well. 2 4th place finishes in his last 3 appearances here. He's got a point to prove to Sam Sanders. We told him to piss off last year when he applied to get a sponsors exemption and he said no. Then he had to go play the Cog. So he's showing up now, and he got this. He had to write a nice long letter. He is now playing. So 12th at the Genesis Invitational, which is good to see. We started seeing the putts fall, the old type of Jordan Spieth, 35-footers just dripping in at the last minute, and maybe that's what he needs to just get some confidence in his game. He's strong, he's powerful. 20th in the field driving distance this week. That's where I'm going to be going.
My first iteration of cash was Adam Scott and Jordan Spieth in those last 2 spots. And then I was like, what am I doing putting Jordan Spieth in cash? But, like GBPs, I'm in. Like the guy he loves his course. I'm in on Spieth at that price.
Yeah. And I think at this ownership too, you ride the Jordan Spieth roller coaster with as little passengers as possible because someone's throwing up. I've always said this about Spieth. You want the least amount of people to throw up on you as possible if we go the loop-de-loops with Spieth. So I don't want to take a chalk Spieth. I want a single card Spieth type situation. Then my secret weapon this week is going to be Alex Noren. I think he's, got the short game to just grit out this week. He's a very accurate driver of the golf ball, top half of the field in that department. We're also waiting for something to happen in his world. He rattled off a couple wins in the fall across the pond on the DP World Tour, showed up here, missed 2 straight cuts in a row. Since then, at Pebble, 29th, and in the Genesis Invitational, he finished 12th. Another long golf course that he really doesn't have any business playing well at. I think he's going to be quite low owned, ranks 10th in my model. So for a $7,300 guy, that's going to do some wonders. He's pretty solid in hellish conditions, and the short game should take him to the promised land. I'm also just going to say Corey Connors in the 6K range at $6,900. Same situation as Keegan. Corey hasn't really done anything much this year. 24th at the Sony is his best finish. But again, we've looked into this stuff. He's played the same kind of golf that he's playing right now and had finishes of 3rd, 18th, 21st, 11th, and 3rd in his last 5 starts at the API. He's a course horse. He plays this stint very, very well. I also want to shout out the Pat Mayo Classic in best ball. I got 2 of my $350 entry lineups into the next week, and that's got Corey Connors in it. So we are looking to make some business. If I get into the 3rd round there, it's $575 just for getting to the 3rd round. And then if you get to the 4th round, that's where big bucks are. So
I will say, okay.
Yeah. Did your team get through?
I have one best ball on it because I felt like I obligated to do it because Byron put so much effort into it. Sorry, Byron, I didn't look at any of your shit when I made it. But I did get my one lineup through.
Hey, baby.
Made it to the 2nd round. I was lucky with the 1st round pick. I had the 1st pick, so I got the one draft I had the 1st pick, and so I took Chef. Right, I took Chef. I was so it ended up working out. I advanced to the 2nd round in best ball with my one lineup that I've made.
Let's go. I mean, running odds, you got to take the world number 1 when you get a chance. So we'll see what Corey can do this week. And I'll be going to Aldrich as well at the bottom here. I think, it just makes too much sense with how he can just demolish these par 5s. I think his length off the tee is incredible. He's relatively accurate when it comes to driving the ball as well. And
I think he's been getting better since the club change.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned we saw him early in the year. It was not as good as it has been getting here recently. So I like Pocket Eater too. I don't know if I have to go down that low. I'm not the biggest fan of like the 6K range either. So Berger interests me, Florida Golf. You know what I'm saying? He had a pretty decent run last week. Corey Connors, I'm glad you might have talked me into him because I'm probably going to need to play somebody in the 6K range. And I really didn't have any true people that I want to grasp onto. But Corey, you might have talked me into that. Ryan Fox, somebody who's been playing pretty good golf, has length off the tee and can play those par 5s well. He's another guy that I would look at in the 6K range.
Let's go. I have one more for you guys. $6,000 minimum. We've got a 2nd this year, a 4th in 2021 here, and a 8th in 2024. He's the 3rd most accurate driver of the golf ball in the field. Andrew Putnam. It's a sneaky course history here. He's got 3 made cuts in his last 4 starts, and 2 of them have been top 8s. So if he can keep his ball in the fairway, he's actually ball striking it kind of well. He's hitting the 3rd most fairways this week, which is going to give him extra distance because he's like 71st in distance. Only Brian Campbell's shorter than him. But around the green, he's 6th in the field. If conditions are playing difficult, he's going to scramble his face off. And on approach, he's actually 28th in the field in stroke gain approach at this golf course. So I think tee to green, he's looking Gucci. Whether or not he can putt, I don't know. But again, at this golf course, he's had great success. Maybe he does find the putter this week. So that'll be where we are going there. In the one and dones this week,
you gotta look at Smotherman too, right? I got one more. Smotherman.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 top 10s in his last 4 events for a guy that's cheap. the numbers and the stats all, I talked about him last week and I said how much I liked him. Didn't play him. But maybe I will this week. Because he looked good. He looked like he belonged on Sunday. Like it didn't feel like the moment was too big for him, right? And I think maybe some of that had to have been because of at the Amex, where he had that nice little run and finished in the top 10. And the Amex was a Siggy event too, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
No,
it wasn't this year.
Just Scotty was in the field, so that seems like it. But
Scotty was in the field. That's what it was. Okay. But he looked like he played the part well of a guy on the top of the leaderboard on Sunday. He didn't get it done, but I mean, he still played. Well, he finished second, but 15, 16 under. I mean, I like the way he's playing, and it's cheap. The one worry again, of course, is if he's like 14% owned. 6K guys at that.
Leave him alone, yeah.
Price, that's probably a fade, but we'll see. We'll see what the ownership things show.
For one and done, where are we going in one? I haven't really thought too much about one and done. I'm going to share some thoughts.
I was thinking about Rory, but the Players pays out more than the Siggy. The Players, I think the winner gets like $4 million. And like I said, I think Rory wins one of these two. So I think I'm going to save Rory for the Players. I thought about him hard for this week. Now he's going to shoot like he's going to miss the cut or some shit. And I'm going to have to be like, man, am I going to play Rory at the Players now? Right? Some shit's going to go down like that. And man, I should have just. But anyways, or he wins this event and shits the bed at the Players. Like it's tough. I think I'm going to save Rory for the Players, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the other guys that I'm looking at here, Kitayama is a guy that I'm looking at playing good golf. You don't have to spend a top dog, and you might still be able to get a very, very high finish. Kitty seems like someone that I can get behind. If you're looking for, the slider, the forehand, I dropped down to third place with Thor missing the cut last week. This shit fucking hurt. Brutal. Scott as like the non-American, or Oberg as a non-American. I really feel Oberg this week. I could be 100% wrong. He could miss the cut, but I just got this feeling about this dog that I saw enough the last time out, and I know that his skill level for his career is going to be so strong that I would feel it for him this week.
Hey, if you have a feeling, Kenny, you gotta act on it, man. The last thing you want to do is you're sitting on the couch on Sunday, trying to remembering the feeling you had and not making it work for you. So I'm gonna get cute early and go with Russell Henley. I think he's gonna be the course history is too good to kind of pass up on him, and it could be he's pretty solid when it comes to consistency. We've got a 13th or 4th in the first year, so in the last 4 years. So I need to make some catching ups a little bit. I think I'm going to save Scotty for the Players potentially if we can see some iron. If his irons pop this week,
say what Scotty's
locking his ass in.
If Scotty's
for the Masters.
If he's winning,
I'm saving Ludwig for the Masters.
Nice.
So giving him some time to figure his shit out again, because he plays that golf course so well too. So I'll see what that happens there. But I think I'm going to go with Henley. Not official. I'll confirm on my show tomorrow. But you can catch that at 3 Eastern on Back 9 Bets on Mayo Media. That's where you can find me. That show is also sponsored by DraftKings. Use code FGD when signing up to help us help you. And check out the Model Maniac Patreon. Use code API26 to get 50% off your first month of the Golf Sicko tier, which is everything I offer under the sun. So enjoy that. Kenny Kim, get us the hell out of here, please, my friend.
Find me on X at Kendo VT, my final betting card, fun stuff, stupid stuff, all posted on X. So go to follow me at Kendo VT. Siggy event at a big boy course. You got to love it. It should be a fun time. Let's win some motherfucking money. Degen Nation.